Hey, badass business owners, welcome back to the show. If you have a small business that you're running in your local community, then we are here to help you grow your profits, because at the end of the day, it's how much you keep, not how much you sell. Well, what I want to do today is I want to talk about setting yourself up to have a successful year next year. A lot of times what happens is we wait to start thinking about next year when next year starts. And that is the worst time to start thinking of next year, because then you're spending your first month trying to figure out what you're trying to do, what you want to accomplish. But the problem is right now we've got about 3 months, a little less than 3 months to go in this year. And then what happens is we're so focused on finishing this year up strong, we just want to focus on that, because then we realize we look back and we didn't get anything accomplished that we tried to accomplish in the first 9 months. And it's this vicious cycle that we get ourselves into. So here's what I want to do. The first thing I want to tell you is you need to stop for a second. You need to finish this year strong, but at the same time, put in place what you need to have a successful year next year. So every decision that you make right now to finish this year strong needs to have a dual purpose. It needs to help you finish this year strong, but also set you up for success next year. And you can't just focus on tomorrow. You're a business owner now, and part of that hat that you're wearing is telling you that you've got to always be looking forward. So you have to do the two at the same time. And it is very possible to do, okay? It really is. And what I want to do is I want to talk about 3 areas in particular, because I could sit here and I can give you a list of 50 million things that you could do to help your business be successful in next year. But here's the thing, you're not going to do any of them. You're going to feel very overwhelmed. So I want your brain to focus on 3 key areas, because if you focus on these 3 key areas, you're going to do really good, not just at the end of this year, but you're going to really set yourself up for next year. So what are those 3 areas? The very first one, you know I'm going to bring it up, is you need to know your business numbers. You need to dive into them. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, oh my God, I don't have time. I've got all this going on. Okay, for some of you, you're going into season to finish the year. I get that. Some of you, you were busy at the beginning of the year in spring and summer, and you're slowing down and you just want to rest. Well, this is the time you really need to kick up and dive into your business, because you've got the time to do it. But either way, you need to understand your business numbers. But here's what I mean by that. You should have, by the time you hear this, you should have 3 quarters of business numbers. Your first quarter, your second quarter, and your third quarter. That's a lot of information about how this year has been going. I need you to grab those profit and loss statements. And if you have an accountant or a bookkeeper or somebody who runs these for you, do the year to date. Put all 3 of them together. And if you only have them individually, I don't want that to stop you, okay? But I want you to look at the first 9 months of this year and really take a look at what's been going on. What are the wins? What are the losses? What are the opportunities? You need to dive in and make sure, did I hit my sales goal? How much am I putting down for my cost of goods? You need to understand those differences. Remember, sales minus cost of goods minus expenses equals profits. So look at it. What have your cost of goods been running you? What have your expenses been running you? Are you hitting the right profit lines? Did you account for your wages both places? For example, in your cost of goods should be your labor wages, and then your profit as a business owner comes down into the profit line of your business. Have you been doing that correctly? If not, you need to get it fixed, because you want it to be fixed for the next year, but you also want to know how you finish this year out, because a lot of what you're going to be doing is you're going to be diving into those numbers and looking for things that you can make a difference. Things that can help you finish this year strong, because you're going to find all kinds of good stuff, right? You're going to find some stuff that you can implement in the last 3 months to try to make more money. And by doing so, it automatically helps you next year, because you've made those changes that will help you finish this year strong, but then go into with some momentum into the new year. So make sure that you're diving into those numbers. Now, for those of you that are experienced with your numbers, most people have a basic idea of their numbers. They still get confused by them. We want you to learn those business numbers, which is why I'm going to keep watching the videos that I put out on the YouTube channel and keep paying attention to the podcast and everything else. We're going to keep going over the numbers. It's going to continue to be my mission, not going to change there. There's past ones, there's future ones. You want to do that, but you need to be armed and dangerous. That's the biggest thing I want you to do, because there's information in those numbers. Now I'm starting to repeat myself. Don't want to do that. But please make sure you know your percentages, you know your highs, your lows, what went well, where'd you lose money. Make a whole list. Get a piece of paper as you're going through those numbers and make sure that you're looking at all of that information. What can you pull out, help you finish this year strong, once again, and then go into next year? Where did you waste money in your expenses? Were there costs that, they were higher than what you thought? And why were they higher? We're going to talk about a little bit about that in the next two areas. So just look at all that information. What are you finding out? Now, the second key area that I want you to check into is going to be a little different for you probably, because I want you to stop for a minute and think about your customer. Way too often, we chase every customer under the sun. And that makes sense when we're starting our business, because we need to get sales. We need to get some momentum in our business. We need to get our word out and everything else. But for those of you that didn't start your business this year, and even if you did start your business, you should start this as well. I want you to start asking yourself, did you chase every customer? Was that smart? Did you waste money? Because most of the time when we lose money and we learn lessons, it's because we chased the wrong customer, or we allowed customers that we should fire early on in the process to stay in our world, and they cost us even more money. Were you focused on the right customer? Were you chasing customers that would use your services, that would spend the money? Did you get a lot of, well, you're too expensive? Well, you're chasing the wrong customers. Not that you were probably priced wrong, because if you did your business numbers, you were priced correctly. What you were chasing was the wrong customer who wouldn't pay for value that you were providing. Okay, so ask yourself, were you chasing the right customers this year? Can you change that going into the back half and really make sure you concentrate on chasing the right customers going forward? How did you spend money chasing those customers? Did you spend it in the right neighborhoods? Did you go in the right avenues? Last year was still tied to COVID, for example. You probably weren't able to network and get out there. Can you put that on your plan for next year? How are you going to get out there and get some of that face-to-face time with people? Once again, how can you implement some things at the end of this year that will roll into next year? It's the best way to do it. I don't want you having a someday list, okay? I don't want you to say, well, I'm going to do this next year. No, these are things you can start right now as you finish this year, so that way it's automatic and seamless as you roll into the next year. That's really how I want you thinking about all of this. All right. When it comes to your customers, were you going into, I have this 5 mile radius rule, right? There's plenty of business for the vast majority of you in the 5 to 10 miles around your home. Were you chasing business 30 miles away, an hour away? That's just wasted money, because you're wasting time with the drive time, and you're wasting time with gas, wear and tear in your vehicle, and all kinds of stuff. That's throwing money away, because most neighborhoods, most areas in that 5 to 10 mile radius, depending upon what you do, there are some of you that have to do that. I get that. But for the vast majority of you, you are only tapping into 1, 2, 3, maybe 5% at most of the business in your local neighborhood. And that's something you have to ask yourself. Were you running all over the place? How do you stop that? How do you stop doing that at the back half of this year? And how do you definitely stop it going into next year? Those are some of the things that you want to do. How did you take care of those customers? Were there headaches? Was there lost money when it came to those customers? All those things, anything to do with a customer, I want you to analyze and ask yourself, were they the right customers? How do you chase who is the right customer? Because maybe you don't know in the beginning, but as you started to do more and more of your business, you started finding out that there's a certain type of customer that you want to serve. Maybe it's certain services or products that you want to be able to deliver to those customers. Maybe instead of being a jack of all trades and giving everything out under the sun to these people, maybe you discovered 1 or 2 services that had the best potential, because you're combining it with knowing your numbers, that had the best potential for you to make a lot of money. And now you're going to take that customer and that particular product and put them together, so this way you can create some great profit for yourself. Remember, it's not about what you sell, it's about what you keep at the end of the day. All right, now another area that I want you to dive into is going to be your processes. And here's why. We waste so much money when we have broken processes, because, for example, if you don't get back to people when they contact your business, that's a lost sale, which means there's lost profit there. And a lot of people, when they really take a hard look in the mirror, they realize that, they're not that great at getting back to people. Because if you're not getting back to people within 24 hours, it's not going to help your business. And I can tell you, I subscribe, for example, to our Nextdoor. I just watch the little posts that go by, as well as anything that you see like on Facebook and these different groups that are out there. Do you know, I can't tell you how many times I have seen people post that people don't get back to them, that business owners don't get back to them. What's it take to get this type of business owner to call you back? We had this one thread for a long time that had to do with getting a landscaper to call back in the town. But I see it all the time in all different professions. It doesn't matter what it is that they do. People want to feel heard. They don't necessarily, yes, they may want you tomorrow, but they're also realistic, majority of them at the end of the day. You need to stop putting everybody in the category of all just because you have one or two that push back, but people just want to be called back. And that was a huge thing that I saw last year. Is that a broken process in your business? When someone Googles your business, can they find it? When they reach out on the phone number or the website or the email address that's found on your website or on Google, can they get a hold of you? Or can they not? Is that a broken process? Broken process. How much money did you waste because you bidded wrong? And it's not that you bid wrong. For example, I was talking to a business owner the other day. Let's just say that job's supposed to go for 3 days. Well, at the end of it, it turns out that it took 4 days. Why did it take an extra half day? Why did it take the extra half day? That, guess what? When you do that extra half day, that's another 2, 3, 4 hours of business. That means labor hours, not to mention any products or services or time or any other jobs that have to be put off. That's costing this business owner money because that was not in their original bid. Because when they bidded it, I'll bet you they put it for the 3 hours. They didn't bid all that extra time, any of the extra services, and they sure the heck didn't expect to push one of the jobs off so they could finish that job. And that's the kind of stuff where it's because of a broken process. It all comes back. It could be a broken process of how you communicate what needs to be done on the job. Maybe it wasn't clearly explained. Maybe it was how the bid was written originally. Maybe it was the fact that something that the customer did. Whatever the case may be, there's something wrong with the process. Anytime that you have tons of loss due to waste, there's something wrong with the process. Why did you have so much extra? You need to dive in and you need to ask yourself that. Okay. I want you to look at all the different processes, things that will help speed up your business. What are those things that are costing you time and money? All right. So main thing, I want to come back real quick. Okay, you need to know your business numbers. You need to dive into those first 3 months, those first 9 months out of the year. I want you to dive in. How can you use that information to your advantage to finish this year strong, but more importantly, go into next year even stronger? And that might be learning your numbers. It might mean taking a course. I've got the Know Your Business Numbers course. It might be that you just watch tons of YouTube videos. I don't care how you do it. You need to do it. That's the most important thing. The second thing that I want to make sure that you're doing is that you're looking a hard look at your customer and what went well, what went wrong. Do you have the right customer? Do you need to focus on a different customer? How are you communicating? How are you marketing to them? Take a whole look and just really jot down ideas and thoughts about how you can improve the customer experience and get the right customer. So that's another area that I want you to dive in and take some good notes on. And then finally, the third section that we talked about is opportunities with your processes. Where did things fall down? What broken? How about communication? How about how you provide it? How about the bidding? There's all kinds of things. How about the way that the experience they have using your product or service or your brick and mortar? It doesn't really matter. What could you make better? All three of those areas, if you focus on just those 3 areas, while there's thousands and hundreds of other things that you could do in your business to help improve it, if you just focus on these 3 things at all times, you're constantly going to be improving. Because guess what? There's always ways for us to better use our numbers, better ways for us to focus and dial down our customer, and better ways for us to improve our processes that will always lead to more sales, but more importantly, more profits. I'm telling you, they're going to help. Now, what I'm also going to do is in the show notes, I have a couple of tools that I've put out in the past that will also help you with your business. One is like 10 questions that you can ask at any time in your business that will help you. And it's a little workbook that you can use to help with that. And then I have a business health check where you can write down and put in your numbers and stuff like that. You can just take a snapshot in time of your business. I'll put both of those in the show notes for you so you can get those. And don't forget, there is the course, like I said, the Know Your Business Numbers course that's really cheap that will also help you understand your business numbers. I just want to give you tools, free stuff, all kinds of stuff that's out there that can help you. But in order for you to be able to maximize this coming year, it's really, really important you take a look at these 3 areas at minimum. So dive into those business numbers, focus and dial in that customer, and then make sure you look at any broken processes that have been costing you time and money, because the most important things that you have in your business is time and money, and you've got to make sure that you're leveraging both of those in order to increase and have the best profits. All right, so with that, I'm going to go ahead and button this up. You may have to listen to this one twice to be able to re-hit up those 3 areas really good, but I have faith in you, and I know you're going to finish this year strong, and because I know you're a badass, you're going to go into next year and you are going to kill it. And I can't wait personally to hear some of those success stories, because one of my favorite things is when you guys reach out to me and you talk to me about your business and you share things. And I want to thank each and every new listener or watcher on YouTube for this past year, because so far it's been wonderful. It's amazing. And I too am looking at how I can finish the year strong for you and then go into next year providing even more value as we build our businesses together. All right. With that, I'm going to get out of here. You've got some work to do. Please, please, please finish this year strong. Hit next year, hit the ground running, and get out there and kick some serious butt. All right. I'll talk to you later. See you on the next episode. Bye. Hey, badass business owner, before you go, as you know, I'm a huge believer in you knowing your business numbers. After all, it isn't about how much you sell. It's about what you keep. And the best way to grow your profits is to start diving in and understanding those business numbers. To help you on this journey, I have created the Know Your Business Numbers course. We will walk through how to read your profit and loss statement. You'll learn the key calculations that'll help ensure that you're making a healthy profit on all of your products or services, plus a ton of other good stuff that'll help you learn how to use those business numbers to create even more sales and profits. Just check out the link below in the show notes or visit knowyourbusinessnumberscourse.com. So if you're ready to increase those profits, it's time you start diving into your business numbers.